Hey guys, Sundown here. This is going to be my chapter review to My Hero Academia or Boku no Hero Academia 210 Dreams of One for All. Now, this is going to be no script, boys. I don't have any points written down. I just read the chapter earlier this morning. Well, afternoon, when I woke up. So, awesome chapter. I really enjoyed it. And it's one of those things where I've been waiting for Horikoshi to really step it up a bit. I mean, just to pick up the pace, and he delivered it this chapter. Obviously, we can't expect Horikoshi to go full tilt, full time, because that's just not very good storytelling at all. But I'd be lying if I said that things hadn't been slow for a bit. So yeah, this chapter was amazing, and the chapter starts off with Gran Torino calling All Might. It's that same call from last chapter. And he basically tells All Might, he's like, oh, by the way, Nana did tell me something about dreams of One for All, but I just didn't remember it until now because I'm a senior citizen. Shit doesn't come to my mind very easily anymore. So obviously All Might's like, he's focused now. He's like, shit, all right, this sounds really important. But we instantly go back to Deku and the class A and B fifth set, which I thought was cool. I mean, like, this is how things should happen. You have one part of the story going on, then you go to another part of the story, and then you kind of return to the original part of the story, which is something that Taizai can't do very well. With Taizai, we're always stuck in one part, and then you continuously being absolutely force-fed that one situation. Whereas, like, what's happening with the Holy War? Tell us all the shit that's been going on with Hauser, with the rest of them, Dreyfus, all these guys. Dreyfus is in like a big ass fight, and we don't even know what the hell's going on there. I didn't even mention that in my review. So coming back to My Hero, we have Deku kind of reaffirming to himself a few rules that he's made with himself and his team. So it's like, once we encounter our enemies, we can't talk. It would be better if we could ascertain their location first so that we can turn the situation to our advantage. And then to himself, he's like, I'm still uneasy about One for All. It seems to be like, I'm not too sure if I'm in full control of it, so I need to be careful about Shinso and his brainwashing ability. So Ida here recognizes that Deku's team is their formation is very similar to Bakugo's team in the sense that you have Deku flying high, just jumping, leaping around, while the rest of his team kind of trailed behind him very closely, getting ready to back him up should anything go wrong or should anything happen. And Sero brings up the point that, they're very similarly, the composition of the teams are very similar, but they don't have someone like Jiro, some sort of detective for oncoming enemies or incoming enemies. They don't have anybody like that. So the reality of the situation is they could get caught unawares whilst trying to lure out the enemy teams. So in this situation, Deku would need to work harder than Bakugo to first lure in the enemy team, but also to not get caught off guard trying to lure them in while the rest of his team are on the ground. So Deku's making like small gestures to his team, and he points somewhere to Uraraka, and I think the entire team goes after her. So Deku's still just leaping around, trying to make himself a target, and he gets targeted instantly by, I'm not sure who actually through this attack. He thinks it's Yanagi. We get is it her? Yeah, we get her quirk in a bit, but he thinks it's Yanagi, and it could have just as well been Monoma, because we hear a scream. You look to Deku looks to his left, and he sees Monoma just stood there with three. I think it might be three. Yeah, with three stopwatches, little timepieces on his fingers, which suggests that he's now able to control more quirks at any given time, one at a time, obviously. But I think his limit beforehand was 2, maybe, and now it's 3, maybe 4. I think it's 3. So Monoma here is really just here to piss off Deku, and he's like, you know what? You're thinking of in the sense of the fact that we would target you just because you're the most dangerous, you're the fastest, you're the most maneuverable and stuff like that. He's like, that's what any clever person would think, but at the same time, another clever person would think someone like Bakugo, someone like Deku is only able to draw out his strength because of his teammates, so why not go for the teammates instead? Which is also a very key point. If you've got one high flyer and then his team are supporting him in the back, you could either go for the high flyer and then take out his team at your leisure, or you can take out the team first and then group the high flyer. So that's what Mono was saying. He's like, we could do either one of those things. And he recognizes instantly that, Deku, you were trying to get my team to like focus on you. That's why you were giving away your location. And then he's just like, now the other 3 of your teammates are against 4 of my teammates, and we've got Shinso as well. So it's probably something you need to hurry about. Like if you want to get to your teammates, you need to get through me, and you need to get there quickly. And then he also brings into Deku's mind the question of, was that scream, was it really Uraraka, or was it me? You don't know, because he doesn't know whether he's actually copied Shinso's quirk or anything like that. But in this situation, he wouldn't be able to copy Uraraka's voice, so maybe he's hinting that Shinso used his kind of voice modification thingamajig to copy Uraraka's scream. So essentially, Monoma's just here, really like throwing a whole bunch of different questions, like, are you gonna go help your team? Was that even your team? Your team are currently being like piled on 3 against 4, 4 against 3. We got Shinso, like, you need to hurry to your team, all that shit. So he's really piling on the pressure on Deku, and I think he's trying to get him to say something because he might have copied Shinso's quirk. So he's really just piling on a whole bunch of pressure, and he's saying some really mean things to Deku to try and get him to say something, or try to get him to do something, act incorrectly, which is what Monoma is great at doing. So even though people are like saying it might be harsh of him to say that, how he had a little chat with Shinso earlier about how, Bakugo essentially was the person who brought the Age of Heroes, essentially, well, not Age of Heroes, but the golden age of like All Might to an end. He brought an end to the symbol of peace. And obviously this would be something that annoys Deku, and this is what Monoma was hoping. He was hoping it would bring out some sort of response. But we don't even know if Monoma actually has Shinso's quirk copied at the moment. So he might just be bluffing big time, and that would be awesome. So Deku gets ready, and he loads up one of his fingers. He's just like ready to blow shit up, and that's where things start going wrong. But we first go back to Uraraka and the rest of their team. So we see we see Mineta floating, holding this kind of rope thing, and you see Uraraka just controlling like how he's floating, making sure that he doesn't like faceplant or some shit. And so then Mineta notices that something on is making his rope twitch. So he realizes that something has gotten stuck to one of these, like, his balls. I mean, like, that's a really bad way of describing it, but that's the only way to say it. And so what he's done is he's stuck his balls to his balls. Wow, he stuck these spheres of like stickiness. Even that doesn't sound right. To this rope, and he's attached it all the way around this map, and you can see why he was floating early, because he was getting like to high ground and stuff like that, all around the piping. And essentially, whenever someone moves past it or even isn't aware of it, and then they touch it, they're stuck to it, and he would be instantly aware. So turns out it's not an actual person. It's a whole bunch of debris just flying straight towards Class A, and Mina just puts up a wall of acid and dissolves all of the incoming shit. And we're told here that all this incoming debris is a result of Yanagi's poltergeist. So Yanagi, her quirk is poltergeist. We'll come back to that because they go through all of the quirks. So while all these are coming in, we see 2 pieces of debris suddenly increase in size, like humongously. They just extensively increase in size to like human size. And we're told that this is Kodai's quirk, which is size. So we could instantly assume what her quirk is, but we'll come back to that later. Uraraka like acts quickly, touches all the debris around her, and gets it to float so that it's not something that actually hits her teammates or can be used against her teammates while she's floating them. And then we see that little Saiyan dude with the Frieza Scouter say Twin Impact, so that's his quirk, and the debris that was made to float just like explodes forwards again, and like suddenly has a new surge of energy going forward. So it picks up momentum from somewhere and just flings forward, hurting people again. Now somehow, someway, Mineta, Uraraka, and Mina, they dodge all of this, but what they've done though is they've revealed their location to their enemy. So this is where we get the quirks. We have Reiko Yanagi. Her quirk is Poltergeist. She can manipulate any objects close to her. However, she can only move things about as heavy as a person. So she's the one throwing all the debris. We have Yui Kodai. Her quirk is Size. She can alter the size of anything she touches. I know people are gonna go crazy with that one because you got some weird ass people outside. I mean, like, weird ass people. But obviously this doesn't apply to living things. She can't alter the size of living things. And then we have Nirengeki Shoda. His quirk is Twin Impact, which is very familiar. That sounds like Double Impact from Merlin in Taizai. But his quirk allows him where in any place where there is damage from an impact, he can trigger a second impact with random timing. Now I thought this was a really, really weirdly phrased quirk. I mean, I don't really understand what the hell it's supposed to be, but essentially what it sounds like is once he's created once an impact has been created on something he's using his quirk on, so let's say if he punches something, he can then trigger a second impact from that thing that he hit, and the second impact will be several times more powerful. So for instance, I punch you, there's that impact, then I activate Twin Impact, and then suddenly there's like multiple impacts that occur through that initial punch that I gave you, and it's more powerful than the first. So it's quite a scary quirk. And it's just his design reminds me so much of Dragon Ball Z. He's got on his right glove, he's got this scouter showing the locations of 5 people, so I assume his team. And it shows on his scouter as well. But on his radar, it looks like a dragon radar. You know, the Dragon Ball radar on it. His Frieza scouter. It's a Frieza scouter. I mean, like, this has got to be a call out, or at least a shout out to Dragon Ball Z. Definitely, man. I mean, like, you gotta agree with me there. So those are the 3 quirks. We have Twin Impact, Poltergeist, and Size. And this showed them, and he straight up looks like he's from Dragon Ball Z. So, you know, not his actual character, just the designs on him. So Uraraka's like, that was a shock, whatever, but what happened to Deku? So this is where shit starts to go down. We have Gran Torino saying he's sorry, but this information might not be the kind of thing he's looking for. So All Might's like, yo, what did Nana actually say about these vestiges, these dreams about One for All? And Gran Torino was like, you know what, it's around the time she inherited that quirk, and we were just patrolling the streets, casual conversation, nothing really major. And then you see Deku, his face is like contorted with like confusion and a little bit of fright. He's just like, he doesn't really know what's going on. And I'm like, uh-oh, this don't look so good. And then you see All Might turning his head, and you're just like, oh shit, something's about to go down. So we get this kind of, not really flashback, we just get phrases which Nana would have said in Black Bubble, so it's showing that these have occurred in the past. So she says, she's talking to Gran Torino, she's like, look, I had a weird dream last night. There was a man shrouded in a dark fog standing in front of me. He looked at me and he said, I'm not ready, or something like that, or it's not that time yet, not yet. So we then see, when she says that, we see Deku loading up again, and he's clenching his jaw, something's not right. And suddenly, like, I'm not even sure what the hell it looks like. It looks like his arms exploding, but I mean, like, what we can definitely see, and it's not just an assumption, but what we can definitely see is the gear around his arms, so his elbow pads and stuff like that, his long ass glove, they've just exploded off his arm, and we have these black, like, electrical kind of tendrils just blowing the shit out of, like, his arm. They're just flying all over the place, encompassing him almost, and it's some sort of black energy. It looks like a Getsuga Tensho. Like, imagine Ichigo going hollow mode, and like all that black chakra all that black Reiatsu is just flying all over the place. That's what it looks like. Awesome panel, but I'm so confused for what this could mean. I mean, like, and the chapter ends with Horikoshi saying this has become an emergency, and this is a really bad situation because A, Deku's loading up a shot against Monoma. If this shot goes off, Monoma could be in some real shit. 2, about B, we've never seen All Might look so frightened of something that's about to go down outside of something that's about to happen to him. I mean, like, even when it's about to happen to him, he's really like, he's heroic. I mean, like, he's All Might, you know, the symbol of peace. But we've never seen All Might kind of like gaze into his eyes so close, and he's just like giving a pure look of, oh shit, this is bad. We see Aizawa looking, and he's like, oh, something's not right. We see Bakugo looking, and he's like, something's, like, everyone's looking at Deku like something's up with this guy. And the fact that, like, there's random energies is blowing out of his arm. His arm does not look in the best state at the moment. Deku looks to be in shock, pain, and he's frightened about something. And Monoma is just there, possibly about to tank a really disgusting attack. Now, there's a whole bunch of different theories. People are saying that, One For All, it hoards power. They've mentioned that it hoards quirks, and I can't really remember that being mentioned, but so many people have said it that I assume it's true, that it hoards quirks, but we've never seen any One For All user, like in Nana or Deku, we've never seen them utilize any quirks apart from, that hoarding of strength. So I'm not sure if that's technically true, but it's not too far-fetched to say that it is. So maybe this is like another quirk within One For All that's activated. I don't know. But I always assumed One For All was just a strength hoarding quirk and not a quirk hoarding quirk. That's just me. But yeah, I have no idea what's going on here. It could be like another quirk activating if what people are saying is true. It could be some sort of thing that the original One For All user inbuilt into the quirk, so that when a user is ready, or when he feels a user is ready, or when the quirk itself has enough power built into it that it activates something that takes you to another level or something like that. It could be that. It could be something All For One built into the quirk, because he gave that quirk to his brother. Maybe some sort of like safety measure against One For All, or maybe it was something that it was some sort of like buff that would happen when the user achieved a certain level, hoping that his brother would be on his side and like they'd go side by side, rule the world and that shit. I don't know, it could be a whole bunch of different shit, but it looks crazy. It reminds me of Bleach when it was good. That's a good thing. So let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. It's been a long ass review, sorry about that. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in a bit.